All great and precious things are lonely, is what the writer John Steinbeck understood about the universe. In current times, in our constantly connected world, we may fail to look at loneliness as anything other than unforgivable and cruel. Yet we forget that we are brought into this world alone and are meant to die alone. A part of human existence is to experience and acknowledge our singular consciousness as much as our collective experiences. The responsibility of loneliness is a profound and interesting one. In isolation and disconnection, we gain wisdom and power that no collective experience could afford us. It is loneliness that makes us aware of our individual lives and experiences. Have you ever heard the phrase, to be lonely in a crowd? It is this understanding that one can feel different and disconnected even when surrounded by others. Not being seen by those around you can make you remember who you truly are and how you would like to be seen. Loneliness brings wisdom by speaking the language of the self. It is here where parts of ourselves come out, and we are able to differentiate from others and our experiences. By differentiating ourselves from others, we become aware of ourselves more. Here, we take the journey of understanding who we truly are. It is here in isolation that parts of us that want to be known make themselves apparent without the watchful gaze of anyone. In isolation, there is no judgment or standard imposed on our parts, as we are free to be only under our own expectations. All social standards or associations will not have power here if you truly know yourself. This is the irony of loneliness itself. The disconnection from others brings one closer to the self. In isolation, we gain greater meaning and understanding of true authentic connection, starting with ourselves. We start on a journey of introspection to the recesses of our mind, spirit, and self. In society, while many people want to escape the reality of being alone, others push past their discomfort to take charge, to start a pilgrimage to their inner world and how it presents in the reality around them. They choose to spend this time to have a greater insight into their own psyche. The path brings them to discover themselves more. We become aware of our habits, our routines, our limitations, and how we engage with others. Without external distractions, we discover our thought patterns, our narratives, and the actions we take. This is where we gain wisdom and clarity in the depths of our consciousness. The self can observe our fears, uncertainty, and even repressed emotions. There is no greater power than someone who is self-aware. It is here where you might find greater meaning among the company of self. Loneliness grants us the opportunity to go down to the roots of our consciousness and recognize where we are wrangled and blocked. We can explore our self-doubt, our ideas about ourselves, and our expectations to change them for the better. Loneliness allows one to unravel and learn from the history of their self. This wisdom gives us the power not to repeat our mistakes, but instead create. Once you gain the wisdom of how your unconscious controls you, you have the power to internally create change so your outer reality manifests differently. It is a powerful thing to learn. Connecting to your core consciousness will allow you to change the frequency of your life, as you are now more aware and in control of how your energy manifests. We are now in the energy of creation itself. Many writers and scientists over the decades have understood the importance of loneliness, as it gave them the ability to create and come to their own conclusions. Away from the limitations of any company, they were able to experiment and have enough belief in themselves to bring life to the most remarkable and beautiful ideas. It gave them the power to create without distraction and in true connection to themselves. French philosopher Michel de Montaigne knew the greatest thing in the world is to know how to belong to oneself. Loneliness grants us different forms of connection with our own body, with nature, and with our authentic core. With time, being alone brings clarity and focus. Away from the influence of others, we gain an understanding of our characteristics, identity, and beliefs. We are offered the power to look inward and truly know ourselves. In society, many people who become part of a crowd become compelled to act a certain way, sometimes without any solid reason, only to fit in with ease. Loneliness offers the freedom to practice being yourself, hold a greater depth of understanding of who you are, and create a sense of security around it. Loneliness offers the power of trust in the self. This path comes when, with time, one builds a comfortability of viewing oneself. As time passes, with decisions, judgments, and experiences taken, a strong connection to self is created, where one is aware of how capable they are. You become aware of your strengths, qualities, and your limitations. There is power in knowing that you can survive a path alone, or you can sit in your loneliness. At this point, we can have the freedom to let go of relationships or connections that do not align with who we are. When we are secure ourselves, we understand our value and only choose what will be good for us. We no longer cling to companionship that does not align with our values. We come from a place of freedom that allows for genuine connections where we can show up as our authentic selves. We understand our strength in standing alone. It's easier to walk away if something does not suit us. These connections are formed intentionally and not out of a mentality of lack. While a connection is essential to humans, loneliness gives us the power to foster it with intention and depth and offer self-reflection, even if it is a small break for some time. We are brought strength by loneliness and shown what we really want. We are brought a superpower and freedom that most people are ignorant of. There is no one more powerful than someone who is self-aware about who they are and how they desire connection. When people fear their loneliness, they fear themselves and their needs, perhaps even choosing to surround themselves with a crowd that does not align with them or fully meet them. They limit their energy due to the herd of people that they associate with or compromise on the self. Here, if we learn from our loneliness well, it will only offer the mastery to choose and understand how we have the power and control when it comes to associating with others. Many people in positions of power and at points of great success also have the common experience of loneliness. Writer Johann Wolfgang von Goethe explains this phenomenon in their own words. The soul that sees beauty may sometimes walk alone. When we grow or are able to see something unique in the world, we will outgrow others. Loneliness is also a sign of great wisdom and power, for it recognizes not everyone can match your frequency and walk with you on your path. For many people, loneliness comes as the cost of wisdom and knowledge. After experiencing a journey of learning, taking risks, and growing, we start cutting off people in our lives. Many people will not be able to comprehend you or even understand the ideas you have. While this might feel alienating, it is only because you have raised your frequency. You are far larger than the people in your circumstance. You are greater than the company that seeks you. Your path is a different one that has a purpose away from fitting in the crowd. The long, arduous journey of feeling alone is also for one who has the wisdom to choose what others cannot. Loneliness brings the wisdom to let go of external validation and associations that limit us. So, we are offered the power to acknowledge our frequency is different than those around us, and we are protected from flimsy distractions and surface-level distractions. This protection and focus is a superpower. There is wisdom in the moments we spend by ourselves. We are able to practice our sensitivity and discernment when it comes to energy. We are able to reflect on others and observe their behavior for greater insight. We bring the same curiosity towards our reality. Here, loneliness offers to stretch time. We can observe time falling. The present moment can be seen in detail. It is here where we gain the wisdom that helps us surpass time. By being present in what is in front of us, we gain the ability to look at life as it is and create from every new day. This gives us the power to surpass the past and time to take in as much as we can in our abilities. This is a skill that allows us to notice our experiences and indulge in them fully. We are able to absorb the life we are living more wholeheartedly. In introspection, the illusion of our limitations breaks, and we can get the most out of what we have. We may walk a path alone, but it is the right path. The world gives you the wisdom to reflect your inner world to the outside. You are now in a deeper dialogue with the universe to create. This robust belief and understanding in yourself is what changes your dreams into reality. Tapping into yourself becomes a superpower, and knowing how to is wisdom. You start to unlock your dreams, know what's around you is an illusion, and see far beyond what is presented to you on the surface. This inner landscape is our gateway to our power and is a reservoir of energy that can be used to harness any outcome. It is here we learn to use our intentions. We become architects of our reality. We are ushered into a world where our existence is no longer limited by social views, expectations, or even associations of people. It is here where we recognize and are able to build a space of value for ourselves. Here, in loneliness, you'll be able to embrace your imperfections and understand what it is to be human. An acceptance of your flaws and strengths will allow you to love yourself wholly and at the same time bring balance to how you understand yourself. You will connect to the divinity present in your being and how it has different sides. This will bring about great change. You will be able to understand the bigger picture of things. Present momentarily, comfort will no longer seem attractive, as you will know temporary discomfort can bring you to the place you want. Your focus and understanding of the world will shift as excessive and unrelated information will fall away, leaving behind the path of clarity. Acceptance of all of the self allows for a superpower to be presented to you. We learn to look at both sides of the story. You see beyond the current time. You learn to look at hope beyond the odds and look for possibilities in every place. Here, you understand the light in the dark and focus on the peace in chaos. You appreciate the multiplicity of experiences life has to offer. You have the capability of grieving your losses while celebrating your victories. Life will be connected to a greater purpose for you, as the divine has the ultimate hand in situations. You will now lose a burden, as you now know what is in and what is out of your control. Individuals who can spend time alone and stay with their emotions of loneliness gain resilience. We are granted the power of staying grounded and feeling protected by our inner connections and beliefs. There will be light on dark days and hope in chaotic times. Here, we are discerning our true strength as an individual. We become aware of our needs and what our blockages are. It brings forward any truth we might be hiding from ourselves so we can address it for the better. This individual self is now in a new sense of power and wisdom. We can re-enter into the collective consciousness of people and add to it. In fact, an individual who can harness himself is more likely to be able to influence others' reality. In the end, we become the beacon of inspiration for ourselves and others after alignment with the source and self. The loneliness builds roots of strength and security that we are safe, knowing we can always come back to ourselves. Our own wisdom and power can benefit the journeys we take forward and the connections that surround us. There will always be wonders that wait for the recess of your mind and spirit if you choose to step away and embrace loneliness. It is a ritual that offers expansion to you, so you have the capacity to take life in more richly. Currently, society understands loneliness to be epidemic and harmful, but the truth is, a daily regimen of loneliness that attunes oneself to it is good for the health of everyone. We deserve to make choices from our inspiration without fear or interference, to embrace. Imagine even a caterpillar chooses to isolate and disconnect from the world before it transforms. It builds a chrysalis that occupies and separates it from the rest of the world. This is the singular experience of loneliness, to live independently and grow. The caterpillar chooses to be alone in the darkness, and this is where its body disintegrates to create a new form. It chooses to transform its identity alone. It transforms alone and emerges to take flight alone. We also discover ourselves alone. Inside our chrysalis of loneliness, we transform from one state to another, which allows us to fly. We gain the power to move ahead and forward in all directions that we seek now, instead of being resigned to a tree. We emerge with our freedom.